Welcome to my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is a collection of footage from the first leg of a transcontinental dash across Europe. Watch as the camera outruns 2020 border closures to catch a flight back to Alaska. The road from Athens to Istanbul takes about 13 hours by bus, including time to cross the border. If you find the right company, the trip can be done for €35 plus visa fees. The best time to leave Athens is in the later hours of the day. I fell asleep watching a Hellenic sunset and woke up early the next day at the Turkish border. The first thing to do whenever in a foreign land is to befriend the local wildlife. With urbanite pigeons, this can be accomplished with bread or other carbohydrates. Pigeons have an important role in a city's economy and sustainability. As these winged rodents pick up and spread bio, they also spread economic opportunity to local power wash companies and supply a low-carbon method of recycling leftover food. Speaking of local wildlife, the cats of Istanbul are famous, and for good reason. These elegant creatures live a simple life as street-bound felines. You may be tempted to think these cats are strays, but nay, they are communal pets. Each is known by many names and has various caretakers, from tourists to locals. The cats of Istanbul are much larger than the cats I saw in the Levant and Iberia. This is a sign of generations of food security granted by their fans and by the pigeons full of fresh poultry. Estimates for the number of communal cats in the city reach 1 million. Each of these cats are unique in personality and appearance. From the European side of Istanbul, you can get on a light rail that takes you underneath the Bosphorus to the westernmost point of Asia. Although the intercontinental metro ride would be a cool way to show off to the Byzantines, the far more scenic route is by ferry and is a nice way to relax. Greater Istanbul reminds me of a city on a major river. The water dividing the population centers is reminiscent of Budapest and London, except the water is salty and there are tides instead of currents. Istanbul is at the confluence of Europe and Asia, and it's where the Black Sea gets access to the Mediterranean. Many entities throughout history have relied on these waters for trade, security, and to conduct warfare. The geopolitical importance of the strategic choke point gives Turkey a unique power over the countries around the Black Sea and the major rivers that flow into it, like the Danube. This ferry will land at the oldest part of the city. With watery outcrops on 3 sides and its protrusion into the Bosphorus, this strip of land has historically been both capable of restricting movement and hard to conquer. Although it's gone by many names, Istanbul has been a continuously populated center for over 2,500 years, passing from the Greeks to the Romans and then to the Ottoman Turks in 1453. These buildings are incredibly historic. Along most streets in Istanbul, many of the buildings were built in the last 100 years. But in the historic center, some of the buildings are thousands of years old. To think of the millions of people that were inspired by these historic monuments, this city has greatly influenced Islamic architecture and also that of the West. Although many Western countries favor an older neoclassical aesthetic, the great domes and spires of Istanbul seem to be more evolved in design. Even though Istanbul is often considered Middle Eastern, it feels almost like a European city. This city is truly intercontinental. Istanbul could be considered the largest city in Europe and/or the largest city in the Middle East. With over 15 million people, it is one of the few regional megacities. Istanbul also has an enormous economy, as it outputs over 30% of Turkey's national GDP. It's one of the wealthiest cities on Earth, ranked number 11. The next leg in the journey is a night train to Sofia. Trains are usually more expensive than buses, but the ticket was under $100. As soon as the train crosses the border into ex-communist Bulgaria, rundown factories and abandoned buildings hug the railway, drastically different from the bustling Istanbul and the Mediterranean Athens. At this point, I'd like to thank you for watching till the end. Please leave a like, and if you have any recommendations for content, I'd love to hear about it in the comments.